All right. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me and see me and everything is going okay. It looks good from the control room, but I have been fooled before. Krister's already here. Hey, Krister. Krister says they're looking forward to this one. They have the book that the product is based on. They haven't decided whether to get the app yet. The app is in the final days of the Kickstarter, and I should have gotten to this earlier. It is literally all my fault from my inbox and spam folder just swallowing up emails. I should have done this a lot earlier. I may be still be able to score a last second interview with Matt Finch. It'd be great to have him on again, but if we can't, that's my fault because yeah, my I need a new system, and I need to make sure that my spam filters are set up so they don't just seem to eat email conversations whole. Hey Magnus, hey Ian. We're looking at the fantasy adventure builder right now. I'm on the rpgstories.net website where you can find the page for that. It is currently, like I said, on Kickstarter. Before we get into the thing itself, I thought we might look at the Kickstarter just quickly, just to kind of get a sense of what's going on. I should probably scroll to the top here. All right. So this is I'm not going to hit the video because we're going to do our own. It has been backed, or sorry, it has made its goals, so it's definitely coming. And you only got 3 days left. So if you like it, don't wait. Oh, and just to kind of square away, Brave Alice, who's the creator of this, creator of the app anyway, not Mythmere, was kind of to send me a key that give me some early access. Other than that, though, they have no say over what I'm doing. I should probably come up with a standard spiel. So just for folks who may not be familiar with what I do and how I do it, I don't pre-look at anything. I don't run anything by anybody. I'm doing it live. So when folks send me stuff to look at, I guess they keep their fingers crossed and hope it's going to turn out okay. So just in any event, they sent me a key, which I really appreciate. But as I haven't looked at it other than installing it and making sure I could run it, they don't know what I'm going to say. They don't know what I'm going to do. They don't know anything. But thanks for them for sending the key. I think, and it says here in the Kickstarter, the app is basically done. I'm not sure if there's going to be any changes. We'll just assume that this is maybe in some kind of final beta form, but all the content's in there and I have the app up and running. So as soon as, I don't know how long after the Kickstarter, if they're going to do any tidying up or anything, but presumably there it is, already written and functionable. It will be distributed back to backers shortly after the Kickstarter is completed. So presumably pretty soon after this thing ends in a few days, you'll be able to get your hands on it. Got some reactions to the demo, and we're going to get into this stuff. And then just in terms of what the investment on your end is, the app itself, $40. You get a Steam key, which is how I got it. And it looks like there's a tablet app. So that'll be nice. This is kind of sneaky. I feel like that's a sneaky good feature. So if you back it, and I don't have the tablet app. I'm not sure where that is in development, if it's also ready, but that's kind of sneaky good. And then if you want to do a little bit extra, if you want to spend a little bit extra, you can get $50, which also gets your name in the credits. And then and I haven't heard anything, so I'm not sure what's in the premium DLC, but there's going to be some downloadable content. And if you want all that stuff, it's $80 and then $100, which also gets you commercial use. Now, the commercial use is not, I look down here to see exactly what they're. So the commercial use is actually for folks like me. It's not if you want to use the output of the generators if you're going to make a professional game and you wanted to set up some generators and use this and then take that output and throw it in a zine that you're doing. That's not what they're talking about. Really, what they're talking about is if you're running a channel like me and you're thinking, hey, I'd like to do a stream where I create all these generators in here. That's where the commercial license comes in. So as they say here, if you plan to use the software on a monetized YouTube channel like me, or show the raw output on a monetized blog. I don't know what a monetized blog is. I mean, aren't all blogs theoretically monetized? I'm not sure what that means. But if you want to show the raw output, plan to use it in something like that. Again, if you're a content creator and you wanted to integrate this into your channel, go for the commercial license. And as they say here, you don't need it to make adventures, produce your own gaming table. Even publishing your adventure for money, as long as it doesn't contain text directly from the tables, also perfectly fine. Right? So this is really more like, hey, if you're a content creator and you're going to feature the software, then spend extra. And then we've got some, they'll be adding, I guess, some premium downloadable content in the forms of tables. There's the pledge levels, and then there you have it. Okay. So here's the actual thing. Should I go new? I don't know if I... We've got some inspirational stuff on the side. Do I need to go back? Okay, there we go. I knew I accidentally paged forward somewhere. All right, so this, I think, I could probably quit and come back, but I think this is the first screen. And some notes I noticed pop up in here because, again, I just started the software just to make sure that it was working, and I saw there was some authorial notes kind of popping up in here. We have this inspiration side here, which with these download symbols, I guess we can just click on stuff. I'm just going to click on stuff and see what's what. What is in the notebook? I guess that must be ours. So I guess we put stuff in the notebook. Should I go to file? Okay, so we have, so we can make our own tables and whatnot. Settings, volume. Whoa, I didn't even go with the help. No help. No. Thank you, but no. Okay. Well, I guess we'll start with the inspiration. Oh, I guess we got a new list. Large talons. Does that do something? Where now are the warring kings? Where are those downloading to? Are those going to my notebook? Okay. All right, cool. All right, so learning as we go. So you can take these inspirations and then you can, hitting this, just clicking on them will then load them into your notebook, and then presumably you can export the notebook. What kind of, and it just goes as a PDF, okay, or a text file. Okay. So if you like these things here, and I guess they're just going to periodically regenerate. Where now are the Warring Kings is a really cool one. I don't know how they came up with it, but I just like it. I don't know. Reminds me a little bit of that poem from Lord of the Rings about Rohan, where now the horse and the rider, which I was just looking up the other day. So that's kind of cool that it popped up. Let's see. Ian asked if there's any info on the Kickstarter page for JSON exports. Oh, let's see. I don't think so. Let me see. Export. Okay, you can export the results as a PDF or in a text doc. So no JSON here. Depending on how this text doc's formatted, it might not be too hard to then finagle that into a JSON. I'm imagining that for it's a cool idea, Ian, but I'm imagining that that's probably a pretty niche request. But one never knows. You could maybe ask maybe, and ye shall receive. If that's something that maybe that's an easy add. But I'll be throwing some stuff into the notebook so that we can look at the text output towards the end, and then we could take a look at how they format it. If it's just, I don't know, plain text, or if they do anything. Okay, so we have the adventure builder here. So we get a little info in the bottom. This is the Tome of Adventure Design index. All right, and we have the table designer for making tables, and then generators. McLean, give me back my generators. I think we're going to spend the first part on the adventure builder. Get rid of the settings. Choose from the index. So here we have the index. We get this rollover text. Boy, that's a little bit small. Okay, so this I think is probably text pulling from the Tome of Adventure Design. So the first set of tables. All right, well, let's just click on one. So we've got starting points. Okay, so then location-based adventure type, unsealed stockades of the bronze warlord of the orcs. Oh boy. All right. Oh well. Okay. So just getting iconography. So if we and layout. So when we highlight over these titles, we're getting the comments, which is nice because it gives us the idea of, okay, what this is. So for this location-based adventure type, that is the place in which the adventure occurs. Has to be an interesting locale with unusual tactical opportunities and possibility of possibly a theme of some kind. Okay, so what we got is the unsealed stockades of the Bronze Warlord of the Orcs. Ooh, the Bronze Warlord. There are many warlords of the Orcs of different metals. This one be the bronze. Kind of a neat idea, right? Why did dragons have a they don't need to have a monopoly on metallic organization. And this is just hot tea for the working man. Fall is definitely fallen here in the city. This is so the patron in the archetypal sense, the patron is someone who hires the characters to undertake a mission and provides the starting information required. In this case, we got a normal beggar. If I hit this button, what does it do? Okay, so that's a reroll. Extortionist with magical threats. A lovelorn poet. I like that. It doesn't let me reroll this one, but maybe that's because I would use the main reroll. The patron or target's motivation is to protect the reputation of or from a business rival. How about that? Partner gains status over an ancestral enemy. A poet. What do you think a lovelorn poet's ancestral enemy would be? Terrence says the molybdenum of Warlord of the Orcs. Exactly. Regain favor. Oh, there you go. All right, so we could keep that one. And if we keep it, did that go into our notebook? It did. Oh, we got some more stuff here. Oh, maybe it gave it, there might have been a whole bunch of stuff that we didn't, did I not see that? So let's see. We got the poet, we got the patron, what might be promised to hit or damage bonus in certain circumstances, possible information source, recently I have people bring back word of the opportunity, the villain's plan, economic. Oh, I didn't scroll down. My mistake. I was wondering where all this stuff came from. Okay. I didn't notice the scroll bar here. All right, so we got a lot more going on here than what we had. Yeah, that one doesn't make sense. What might be promised? I guess it could be through a magic item. Let's see. What might a poet? Well, enhanced ability to cast spells, gain hit points. Yeah, money. Money is always an option. Did I miss a raven? Where did a raven come in, Krister? Did I miss it? That wasn't these. All right, I'll do that one. So possible information source, recent life people bring back word of the opportunity. That works. I like that it's very easy to re-roll these because I think that's going to be important because with all kinds of random generators, sure, look, you can always just take it as it is. But then you get stuff, like the patron being a beggar actually is pretty interesting. I maybe should have kept that one because you might think that the beggar could maybe promise something. It obviously doesn't have money, but maybe has something else. We're going with the poet, which is also sort of interesting too. The villain's plan. Do we know the villain yet? Let's see. The villain's plan is economic power. The villain is working on gaining wealth, either as an end in itself or to fund the next step in a larger plan. Oh, Raven as the ancestral enemy of the poet. Ah, yes. I like it. Edgar Allan Poe, definitely kind of Halloween theme in a sense. Macabre, definitely. Nevermore, quoth the Raven. Has anyone been watching that Fall of the House of Usher show on Netflix, by the way? We've started it. Or I think we're on episode 3. I don't know if I love it. It's fine. It's Hollywood fodder, but I'm actually a huge Edgar Allan Poe fan, and I find so far that I'm not, other than borrowing names and references, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of, I guess, what I would say the spirit of Poe in there. But maybe I'm expecting too much, but it's all right. Okay, so the villain's plan is for economic power. The villain's economic motive is funding for another evil plot that's already in the works. All right. The villain's method of economic expansion. So I wonder if I change these, will these change? Oh, Krista, you should give it a try. You never know. You might like it more than I like. I mean, it's not that I even dislike it. It's just like the family, right? There's this Fall the House of Usher, and there's obviously ushers in it and things like that. But it seems a lot kind of skin deep. But I haven't watched it all the way. I don't know everything that's going on. And there's kind of a raven bird motif going on in there too. Okay, so we have the villain's plan now. It has evoke a catastrophic event. Then we get the villain's economic motive, funding. Okay, so that stays the same. Villain's method of economic expansion. They have a legitimate business, but is destroying his rivals by nefarious means. Ooh, okay. Funding for another evil plot that's already in the works. I think what I would like. I'm thinking something that I would like. I'm seeing something. I think there's an opportunity here. Okay. The one thing I've noticed is you got to be careful with these because you might, and I would definitely be guilty of doing this. I could see myself doing this any minute. Is thinking that I might, because yeah, there's the notebook, but I might, if I was working quickly, maybe I have this open. Because one thing you could do, and I think this is going to be potentially valuable for, is you're running your game. You need to come to a generator. One, you can create your own generator, so you can take a lot of stuff that you might have in other places and write them in here, which is cool. So you can kind of have this. Oh, and the Steam, the file itself, it's not a huge file. It should be able to. My current PC, this desktop that it's on is fairly not the beefiest thing in the world, but it's it's modern and it's kind of up to modern spec, but it's not a huge game you're trying to run. It's not gigs and gigs and gigs and gigs and terabytes of whatever. I think you can be able to run this on very reasonable laptops and all kinds of stuff. But what I could see being an issue is you have to remember, if you press on this, like you're going to highlight it, maybe you think, oh, I can just click and grab this text. Put it in your notebook first, because when you click on that, it's gonna generate something new. And what I was thinking of, I don't know how this would work because it looks like everything's in this main window. And maybe something they could do if anyone from Brave Alice is listening, if it strikes their fancy, is I'd like a button here, I kind of a dice. A lot of times they use sort of a die button, something to indicate that if you press in this, it's going to re-roll. And that way you could have things like internal links inside these texts. Because here we have a parenthetical to use the destroy community table for ideas. And it'd be great if I could link to that table. And then maybe that table pops up inside of something else or in another window or some way you could kind of keep. Because I don't necessarily want to lose this and just jump to that table, but it'd be nice to, hey, add this into the mix. Somebody doing that. And right now you can't, because I might think, oh, click on that. That'll take me to the table. It's like, nope, I'm going to lose what I've got. And it might be a way, since there's so many options on the Tome of Adventure Design, it might be a ways until I can get back to it. I could probably just remember, but if I'm saving them to the notebook or I'm trying to do something, I might not have a chance. So I'm thinking it might be nice to not have all the text be the re-roll. You let me know what you think. I'm just for myself, I'm just afraid that I would click on that accidentally and end up goofing on something I want. And then we have, let's see, other factors in the plan. Involves non-lethal force, extortion, or other intimidation. That works. And then the villain's lieutenant is let's see, and their main lieutenant or unusual minion is a intelligent peasant. Most peasants are unintelligent. This one, however, is intelligent. All right. That actually works with the beggar. If the beggar had some kind of peasant, I guess it works with the poet too. The lieutenant is insane. All right. This person is the villain's loyal kinsman. That's interesting. So the poet has some peasant family who's nuts, but will help them. Most for giggles, let's just re-roll it and see what's what. Krister says a peasant uprising. I mean, it could be. It seems like they're using extortion. The interesting thing with the peasant idea, I mean, it really could work because what was I watching? What was it? It was what was it? What was it? Hold on. I forget some movie I was watching. The idea of, let's say, And think of a show like Downton Abbey, right? Downton Abbey is probably not a great example, but because it was concerned with the folks who were working in house, right? It was not just the lords and the ladies and the upper crusty folks, but also the people in the machinery of this manor, right, on the show. But often you think about the butlers, the maids, whatever. They're there all the time. They're around, but they're kind of hiding in plain sight, so that they learn a lot, they know a lot, they could get into a lot of mischief if they choose to, and potentially do some rotten things. And people aren't going to really look at them because they're kind of invisible. Your butler is always standing back there, and despite that, the old saw and the murder mysteries of the butler did it. That you probably, if there was some great intrigue going on, you're probably not going to think of the butler. I think in the same way, a peasant can get into a lot of places, in a sense, unseen. They're not hiding, but they're just they're hiding in plain sight. They're not sneaking like a thief would, but no one's paying attention to the peasant. No one's paying attention to the guy working the fields. Maybe other peasants do, but not other folks. So they can maybe do things and get around, get into places that someone else couldn't because they're a peasant. Who's paying attention to what the peasants are doing? Nobody. So it was Enola Holmes, the sequel to Enola Holmes, kind of had that theme of the sort of hiding in plain sight element. I don't know if that would really spoil things, but I guess it's too late now. If it spoils Enola Holmes 2 for you, sorry. So we did a reroll just to see. This time we got the location is a frightful asylum of the mastermind automaton. Ooh, that's impressive. Interesting that you can't re-roll this one. I guess when you re-roll the location, you have to re-roll everything. It might be nice if you could just re-roll this part. I don't remember in the book, and I don't have the book in front of me to know if the reason why you can't re-roll that is everything is comes off of this one table. But since you can re-roll everything else, it might be nice to be able to re-roll this without re-rolling everything else. What do you think? We get our patron is a poseur, posing as a religious personage. Their motivation is to cause dishonor for a religious compatriot. Reverse aging might be promised to the characters. That's kind of intriguing. A possible information source, inquiries in taverns leads to a rumor. Their plan is to increase personal capability. The villain is trying to increase his inherent personal power. This might include gaining levels of experience, useful information, magic items, etc. Nice. Let's see. Where is do we get the villain? Is the villain's not the patron, right? The patron is who's putting us. Yeah, we're hired. That's who's asking us to do that. This is the person who's doing it. So we don't actually get who the villain is, other than I guess the villain is the mastermind automaton. I wonder if is that always how these are formatted? Demonic Rakshasa, Kabbalistic. See, this one not. So this one doesn't give us an enemy. It gives us more of I guess the Cabal is an enemy. But it might be nice to have the actual villain in here, but I don't recall where if that's, because remember this is taking Tome of Adventure Design and digitizing it, and I don't recall if the tome works differently. I imagine this is how the tome works. But this is the starting points of the adventure design. There's also this. After you have chosen a category, you can click here to roll for results. If you click again without changing the category, you will simply roll for results again. I see. So this is just another way of, I think these two must be the same. This re-roll down here and this one, right? Would that be right? Yeah. And this is to garbageify it. This will delete all your progress. Are you sure? No. And then that will go back. Okay. Well, let's start over. Yes, I am sure. I see. That takes us all the way back. Okay. Now we'll go back and we'll create some more starting points. Gas Bluffs of the Flying Genie. All right. I'll just take that. We'll add it to our notebook just to make sure. Oh, I haven't. Okay. So that's our notebook got cleared. When you do that delete, you lose all your notebook. So make sure to keep your notebook. Okay, so that's the starting points. Now we can create a monster. Let's do it. New monster. This monster is a type that can be described as a plant. Plant monsters are often little more than hazards, but a mastermind plant is a definite possibility. I'm down for a mastermind plant. The basic form of the plant monster is a thorn bush. Plant monster profile. Whoa. Okay, so they do have some internal links. Oh no, I see. These. All right, we'll have to hold on a minute. Okay, I'm gonna have to be. See, I'm gonna have to take care clicking on stuff. So we got Magnus says, I wonder if they can upload rules and such from different systems. Magnus, you can. We'll try it in a bit, but you can make your own generators. The generators, we'll see how they work. They function, the tables and generators, but you can definitely. There's not really rules attached to any of this, so you can you can write up stuff however you want. It's pretty much rules agnostic, as far as I know, because it's not making. You're not rolling dice. You're not engaging in any particular, what's the word I'm looking for? Particular mechanics other than, you're right, you're just generating content. All right, so the monster profile. The plant has limbs or body part that moves, wood-like or fibrous arms with hands that can strike or grab. The plant has mobile vines or tendrils that inflict an unusual type of additional damage, usually automatic and progressive if the tendrils manage to grab and hold the victim. The following are ideas for such damage: poison, instantly lethal, progressively damaging, heat, cold, acid, electricity, squeezing, and thorns. Okay, so if I click on this, I guess it's just going to do that one again. Okay. Plant has limbs or body part that moves, vines that can strike or grab. All right. Actually, that works a little better with the other things. So it's a thorn bush with vines that can strike or grab, and then these vines also can wrap you up and potentially poison you or do something else. The plant, and so for an unusual reproduction method, the plant injects or drops seeds into the water. The seeds become tadpole-like creatures, animal or vegetable, doesn't matter. The tadpoles swim to new locations using their whip-like tails. They die, and the internal seed matter begins. I think that's a typo. Begins to grow as a new plant. Tribal, and there, I guess, a tribal society. They trial by combat for the leader. Can you imagine if you happen to encounter these what would these be, these thorn bush creatures as they're having a giant trial by combat scrum to see who's their new leader? That might be super cool, kind of crazy encounter. Not only do you encounter, but you encounter 20 of them, and they're all in some kind of rugby like scrum, all lashing and whipping each other. All right. So we can re-roll that. We can keep that. I'm good to keep that. Now let's go to dungeon traps. Yeah, one thing it would also be nice. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be putting my little 2 cents. I think my feeling is when you click on these, just generate one for me. Unless I go back and it's supposed to give me. Do I want to do that? No. Okay, so let's do this. So let's see what happens. So if I keep that and then I go back. No, it didn't. It went back. Yeah. Yeah. So my think is, let's see. So this one, I just want to check this against what's in the notebook. Did it generate a new one, or is it giving me the one that's already in my notebook? So this one says valves, release gas. The gas fills a particular radius, lingers. Nope. Webs. Nope. So they're different. So yeah, I think if it's going to generate one, just save me the extra button press, and just if I click on there, just give me a new one. Because I'm not sure why, if I would click on one of these, I'm automatically going to click on that. So to me, it's just an extra key, an extra mouse click, whatever, for naught. Okay. So we got Valve releases gas. The gas fills some kind of radius. It lingers. It tightens throat muscles, causing a likelihood of unconsciousness. The trap's trigger is a simple tripwire or pressure plate that's concealed in or by a flagstone on the floor, which is most likely, not necessarily, where the trap's effect is also targeted. The natural feature used in the trap is a crumbling floor. How it is rigged to function as a trap, something pulls you into it. Ooh, interesting. And then the trap has a magical trigger. Well, wait a minute. So then we have a basic mechanical trap that has a concealed trigger, but then we also have, it looks like this is giving us kind of several. I guess if we want it to be a magical trap, or is the beam of light the kind of the tripwire? Let's see. Then the profile of a complex trap. The draw, charm spells, or enchanted singing pulls party members towards the trapped area. Oh, interesting. Some or all of the characters are immobilized. Pit opens up to catch individual party members. The kill mechanism. Repeated mechanical monster magical attacks. Details rocks or heavy objects fall periodically into the area. That's lovely. Escape mechanism. Automatic timer and reset. Complication, progressive, magically induced weakness or immobilization. Details, transformation. While the characters are in the trap, they are also slowly being changed into something else. If an interesting means of measuring, oh, there's another typo. It's sorry, it's not. It's out. For some reason, I saw that U is an N. Let's see. A means of measuring out life is required. Life can be measured as follows by saving throw. I wonder if they could. So it seems like we have. Let's see. I kind of feel like we have multiple traps here. I should pull up the book. I don't have it. I have it, but I don't have it super handy. Just to kind of look at. I don't think I have it handy. Unfortunately, I'd have to do searches to dig it up. It seems like these are actually multiple kinds of traps. So you have your basic mechanical trap, which is this. Then you have basic trap. That's a magical trap, right? The natural feature used in this trap is a crumbling floor. How does rigged to function as a trap? Something pulls you into it. Though that seems to be kind of. So these seem to be the same. If it's so maybe I'm. Well, let me see what are the notes. Okay, we don't get a note for that one. What's the note here? This trap is the same effect as above, but has a more complicated or concealed trigger. I see. So you kind of start off with the basic trap, and then you could add the trigger if you want to. And then this one's a different one, though. So I almost wonder if we could have, if we need some, like they could spread these out as subtypes. So you get into dungeon traps, and it's just got basic, I don't know, advanced basic, rigged. Then this is kind of a different mechanical. No, this is not a basic one, and then magical, and then a complex trap. Does that make sense? It'd be nice to spread to kind of compartmentalize the information a little better. But I mean, that said, if you have the Tome of Adventure Design, you probably, if you're familiar with it, these are gonna, you'll understand exactly where to draw the line. As okay, this is a different trap, but I think maybe I would appreciate it if it was maybe organized so that each you just generate a single trap, and then you could break out the subtypes up here. So you could have just a basic trap with a more complicated trigger, concealed trigger. So I guess the first trap is a basic trap. Trigger is not really concealed. Actually, it doesn't even have the. There is no particular trigger. Then this one with a concealed trigger, and then so on and so forth. Did I keep one of these? I think I kept. Yeah, okay. I kept a different one. That's fine. I'll make sure I'm keeping my notebook. I didn't keep that. Do you want to continue? Yes, I do. Overview and backstory. Most important feature of any adventure is the race against time. Virtually all good adventures contain some sort of race against time, although the degree to which the race against time is a feature of the adventure can vary quite a bit. Indeed. Okay, so the race against time here is basically what's the ticking clock, right? The characters' provisions or air will run out. Desert adventures where water supplies are limited are a classic example. Enticement to peril. And the comment here, I do like that they have these because he definitely has his own verbiage for things. So it's nice to be able to, especially because I imagine at some point you might be using this and you don't have, I mean, I'm sure some people are going to buy this and not have the Tome of Adventure Design at all. Just get it. Right? And I could see doing that if I'm really going to use a Tome of Adventure Design as a digital thing, I could buy that book and use it, or I can have this that kind of automates a lot of it. It's kind of I might think, oh yeah, like why not just automate it? And so not having the source book where I can go and look up stuff, it's nice to have the commentary that goes with the generators handy because it's not necessarily intuitive to everybody how he means. So the enticement to peril here is another very important factor in all adventures is making the players want to undertake the adventure. Right. So this is that what is the objective? So this says enhance alertness. Which is interesting. And remember, a lot of these, because they are system agnostic, because they're not tied to a particular mechanical system, you might need to finesse these. So what that means for your game, what does enhance alertness mean? Could be that something's going to, if you're playing, I don't know, 3.5, there's alertness feats. So you might say, oh yeah, you'll get something that'll give you the alertness feat. If I'm playing BX, there is no such feat. What does it mean? Maybe it's an item, maybe it's something else, but I need to think about what that means. What does it mean? Alertness, and how do I do that? Of course, if none of them work, you can just roll something else. Enhanced ability to see. Great. Topographical and or tactical challenges. Pit strength against. I'm not sure what that means. Certain types of challenges are common to all adventures, whether wilderness or subterranean. The result below can be used for minor challenges, similar to solving a trap or a trick, but it's shown here because it can be used to get ideas for the sorts of large or recurrent challenges that define a mission. So we're saying that the kind of thematic challenges for this adventure would be they're going to have to pit their strength. What does that mean? It can mean many things. It can mean different things. It might mean that in this adventure, we're going to have to use actual strength. Then maybe there'd be a challenge where you have to use some kind of knowledge or whatever. But you're always we could think of strength in terms of what you're really good at, or we could think of strength as in physical strength or in multiple different ways. But that's a nice theme that we can pick up on over and over again. So we can keep coming back to this idea. And if we're looking for a problem, a situation, and we're trying to decide what it's going to be, we can think back to this and say, oh yeah, the theme here is pitting strength against whatever. Specific tactical situations, areas where normal vehicles, quote unquote, normal vehicles must be used, boats and rafts being the best example, horses, wagons, and mine carts being other examples. I got to have a mine cart run. Hey, Hunter. Hunter asks, is there a way to generate characters or monsters with a single click on this platform? We did we did creating a monster. I can, if you scrub back a bit, Hunter, there is a create a monster set of tables, and it's all, basically, this is all generated with one button. And then you can go into these specific areas and re-roll, but you don't have to. So you can basically one button press. No worries for being late, Hunter. It happens. I didn't exactly give tons of notice. Apologies as usual for that. So the answer is yes. Yes, you can. So we got the specific tactical situations, and we have a backstory, big picture backstory. About 100 years ago, the place became filled with traps or deadly barriers in connection with rampaging non-human tribes. All right. And then, we got a type of information. So these don't get, I guess maybe in the book they didn't have anything for them. So we don't get any sort of context. So rumor about a location. A hireling who worked with a previous group of adventurers. The rumor suggests some, but probably not all, details having to do with how to operate a piece of machinery, an elevator to another level, the lava channels, the ghost vats, the poison brewing machines, etc. Okay. And the rumor revealing backstory. The rumor contains sparse details, but might suggest that someone is amassing military force near a nearby town. The reason isn't clear from the clue, but the intention probably isn't good. This indicates a villain who's following a destroy community type of plot using an attack strategy. Well, there you go. All right, I will keep this. So remember, you want to keep in your notebook all the stuff, and we'll export the notebook at the end in PDF and text to see what we get. But you want to do it before leaving because it's not saving it. If you go back to any of these, they're just going to come up blank again. So make sure. And I think it does warn you if you try to leave and you haven't kept it to just make sure that's what you want to do. But just remember to do that before you leave. Now we'll get a dungeon map. Oh, look at that. Here we get a schematic, different areas, and then transitions. Okay. I think one thing that would be nice is we have this main text area, content area, but we have more real estate that we can't, it's not really taking advantage of. It might be nice if you could pull these out because I can't see this and these at the same time. And it might be nice to have something where they could be side by side, make this content area maybe a little bit more dynamic. So this dungeon has 6 areas and 6 transitions. And I want to be very careful not to click on these because I don't want them to reload. So we get area 1, but they're going in transition order, but starting area. Oh, I see, that was me. Well, not my glasses on. So area 1 is down here, which is the starting area. Maybe that's why it's square, which is cool. Now we have, so you're starting in area 1. I might just put, just as a little thing, maybe put area 1 first instead of transition 1 first, since that's the first thing we're going to see. So area 1, and remember to be careful. Did I keep these in the notebook? No, let me do that. Let's keep it. Okay, so the topography is rough hewn through rock. The area contains 3d6 plus 3 rooms or chambers. So this is just for the overall area, right? So, or is that for this area? Okay, so they're all areas, which means they have multiple rooms in there. Whoa, highlighting that orange color, not the best. Okay. The area contains 3d6 plus 3 rooms or chambers. 1d4 plus 1 of these rooms are rooms of unusual size. Normal size room. So I don't know. Is this a room? Is this a room or a chamber? So if this is a room, it's square. If it's a cavern chamber, well, I don't think it's a cavern table, right? Do we know? I don't think so. The room is a circle, 1d6 plus 4 times 10 feet. Generator connecting corridor forms a circle, a square, circle, or rectangle. Internal area need not be completely filled. Okay. And then the transition. So to get from area, if you're starting in area 1, you want to go to area 2. You go through transition A, which is the connection between them. It's not a physical connection. The 2 areas are connected by teleportation. Don't forget to add the teleporters to your map key in the 2 areas. Teleportation is a function of a container in one area and a dais in another area. Teleportation is perfect teleportation in groups. Target point varies. Has medium-long reset period and is one way. Make sure you don't create a dungeon area with no exit on the far side of the teleportal. That would be bad. Perfect teleportation in groups. Target point varies. All right, so I guess if a bunch of people step on the teleporter, so each teleportation cycle will shoot you to the same place. But then if you wait and then go on by yourself, it might shoot you somewhere else. So everyone in the group is going to go to the same place if you get on at the same time. I think is what they're trying to say. Transition B is a long corridor. So we have this other way you can get in here. Long corridor with turns or curves approximately, all right, 1d10 times 10 feet long. Okay, so this is natural caverns. I see. So when we're looking at the topography here, when they say if this is a room, if it is a cavern chamber, fit the room shape so that it touches 2 or more edges of the square. Okay. The shape is kidney shaped. So this is if it was a cavern, it would be kidney shaped. So, but it's not because it's rough hewn through rock. But this is caverns. So when we would use this, if this is a cavern chamber, You got to be really careful when you're highlighting stuff, because if you highlight this and click it, it's going to redo the whole thing. Redo these. I think I would definitely go for having a little die symbol next to stuff, and then you click on that. Because now, granted, it's not as easy if I'm really in terms of speed. Yes, highlighting this whole thing or highlighting these underlined things is faster, but I'm just super afraid of accidentally clicking. And the highlight colors, I think they need to, I don't know about accessibility wise, but the blue for me, the orange on that slate gray, even the blue, it's not good. And just me, as I'm doing these streams, might not be a deal for you, as I'm usually putting my mouse kind of what I'm interested in, what I'm trying to read. And in this case, I want to avoid it because it's much easier to read the white than it is the blue or the orange. But these are kind of quibbly things here. Transition C, system of corridors. Area 3, rough hewn through rock also. This area contains 1d6 plus 2 rooms or chambers. If this is a room, it's rectangle. If it is a cavern chamber, no, it's not a cavern chamber. 2 central rooms are connected to each other by a corridor. Okay. And then we just get area 5 and area 6. All right, I'm going to export these, or sorry, keep this, send to my notebook. I'm curious how this is going to show up in the notebook. So let's give this a look. Ian says it has a very skeuomorphic fantasy ground style design that they're not a fan of. All right, we get the picture, which is cool. Yeah, I don't know enough about. I'll take your word for it on the fantasy grounds, part, because yeah, I'm not familiar with fantasy grounds enough. I really never used it. I think I've only seen it a couple times when I may have watched a Matt Colville video where he's on fantasy grounds. I think they could do more with the real estate, and I think that there's some things they could do with this, how they're presenting the content a little bit to help us out a bit more. I think they're pulling stuff directly from the book, which is good. But I think maybe there's an opportunity there to do a little bit more in the streamlining part, to do a little bit more to kind of what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, streamline, for example, this highlighting thing. So here it's natural caverns. So if it knows it's a cavern, then you don't need to. Then why not just, instead of having this normal size room bit, then says if it is a cavern, like it's a cavern, so just use that part, right? Just a way of maybe splitting things up, or just drilling down a little bit just to save us some steps. I think at the moment what we're getting is directly from the books, and that's going to be great for some folks. And maybe if you're not as familiar with the book, or like me, like I don't have the book in front of me and I haven't looked at the book in a little while, it's going to cause me some extra, like, oh, what do they mean again? What is this again? And yeah, I could go to the book and look at it. But at the same time, if they could kind of, just add that little extra bit of automation, it might be good. But on the flip side, is we're getting is, you're getting all the Tome of Adventure Design, all that stuff in a really quick. I mean, you can really quickly generate stuff. But I think that they could jazz the UI up a little bit. And I think, to your point, Ian, of kind of look, it's going for a very, I forget the name of that design. Is that skeuomorphic? I'm not really familiar with that term, but this idea of that kind of design mimicking reality, like, oh, okay, it's like we're on a chalkboard, so we kind of got the slate sort of thing. But I think at the same time, you could probably do more with abandoning that. And there's like this notebook is kind of a big icon here, and there's a lot of stuff where it's like you got this main content area, but a lot of it's taken up with this part and taken up with this footer, so you end up with kind of a really squeezed main content area. And then instead of this being more dynamic, where maybe we could have the map over here and then signs over here, they're using a single template, which Doesn't always use space effectively. And then, you got stuff like there's a lot of spacing in here. Kind of tighten it up. Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. And I wasn't really familiar with the term, but I figured that might be what it means. So yeah, I think they could tighten stuff up a little bit. But these are all things I feel like they'll keep iterating on as they go. But it's definitely not not in the sort of maybe the most modern design style, if you will, that we're at now. But it's certainly very usable. The highlighting bit is a little bit. I feel like that would be my pain point, is that accidentally clicking things. So here we get some landmarks. A big thing. We get decaying toad mill or mills. We got a well for a level change. We do get a comment here. As a rule, which is fine to break from time to time, don't create dungeon levels like a computer game where there's one way down to the next level and virtually the entire level needs to be explored to get there. As a general rule, put in about one level change per 2 or 3 dungeon areas. So basically, this well would be there as a way for you to a non-standard, unorthodox way of traversing dungeon levels. Normal conditions are normal. Unusual stairs, optional. Stairs, steps are invisible, making the stairwell resemble a chute. Ooh, boy. We have an ethereal idol. Let's see, we have for a special room. You get the legendary Throne of Mists with an additional detail. The original shape got distorted or partially melted by something. That's cool. Ian says, to my point, they aren't taking advantage of the digital medium, using the existing state to inform future results, e.g. cameras. Yeah, I think they could do more with that. But first of all, just to reiterate, right, this is pre-release in a sense. So they might be, I have no information. I don't know if they are going to be changing things or if this is kind of what it's finally going to look like. But then we also think this is version 1. I'm sure there's something that they're going to continue to iterate on. They're going to have DLC and stuff coming, we know. So they have a lot of opportunities to come back and kind of fiddle with these kind of details. The mechanics are all there, right? It just might be a little bit like, hey, can we jazz up the presentation a little bit? Can we add a little bit of automation to help? Can we split stuff up? I mean, and I think the thing is maybe over time. And the other thing is we have to keep in mind, they're using content from Mythmere, right? They're Matt Finch's book. And the one thing I have no idea about is how much liberty that they were allowed to take with it. Maybe the deal with Mythmere is, yeah, you can put the book in its digital form, but you kind of got to keep it as it is. In which case, they may have thought like, oh, we could do all this extra automation on top, but then that's just not part of the deal. So I don't know how any of that works, right? But assuming that they're able to, I think adding some levels of automation, giving some maybe finer grain controls in there a little bit might help folks figure out what's going on, especially if, whoops, I'll export this, keep it, especially if they're not coming from being familiar with the book itself. All right, let's make some items. And, and for example, a lot of these are really cool, but I wouldn't mind just being able to, I think one of the things I'd like is I'd just like to be able to generate one thing. Like, just let me generate dungeon dressing by itself. Let me generate an unusual source corpse by itself. Really let me filter. And I think you get so much room up here. You could definitely have, dungeon dressing, corpse, weird, you could have, and give me some sub menus. Oh, dungeon dressing. Yeah. General or weird. All right. Furniture, small item, smells, sounds. Like, these are all awesome, but you got to generate all of these at once. And the other thing is, for me, thinking about it, I'm unfamiliar with the book. I got to remember that's all their miscellaneous items, as opposed to putting dungeon dressing. Maybe put that all with the dungeon stuff. Put dungeon stuff all together, and then you can have your map, your landmarks, your all this stuff, and then you can click around on different things and just generate one of. Right. Let me keep this. Devious Dungeon says double click on the index items to the left. Well, if I double click, nothing. Well, I'm already there. Oh, wait a minute. How did you know that? Well, look at that hidden feature. I didn't even know. I don't. All right. Okay, so books. Okay. All right. Well, that's something I would have liked to have known. I'll put that on user error. Still, I don't feel like that actually. I feel like whoops. I think that that's really cool, and I'm glad that I know that now. There's no hover. Put a hover thing in, please. Put a hover thing to let idiotas like me figure out what's going on. The other thing is you can still have it up there. It should be both. Have it here, have it there. Does this have how many of these have double clicks? Or is it over here? Oh, it's not a double click. It's not a double click at all. You have to click on the little icon here. So yeah, and not all of them have it. That one's got it. Monsters got it. Traps has it. Overview and backstory has it. Dungeon map does not have it. Maybe that's why it's got a different symbol. Yeah, that's I mean it's cool. That does, but I feel like you gotta and I don't know if that's a fantasy ground ism, but I can't see. What does that symbol mean? I'm not even sure I can tell what that symbol is. I think it could be made a little bit more clear. But it could be that if I read the instructions, that's on me. I'll say user error, but could probably use some a little help. And I think my point stands too about if we're gonna have these songs, put them also here because we're in the general overview. Get them down here. You got plenty of space, especially you know that they don't use so much of it. You could easily tighten some spacing up here to help with that. But that's really good to know. All right. I want to do some. Okay, I got coming up on the hour, but I haven't even gotten into custom tables. So let's get over to custom tables in a sec. I just want to see what do we get here. Non-dungeon adventures. Let's just generate a whole slew. Save those. Keep them because I want to quickly export this book. Inspirations. That one doesn't have one. A characteristic of the mosquito. Okay. All right. So now we've got all that. We can go to our notebook. We got a whole slew of stuff. Now I'm going to export this. You probably don't want to maybe just go to documents as the default, but that's all right. That's on me. Just put that in my adventure. Sure. And we'll export this also as my adventure. Oops. .txt. I go to documents. State modified. Okay, so did it not save? Did I not save the PDF? So here's what you get in the plain text document. Just a huge list. And this, I think, is where the diagram would have been. Obviously, you don't get it with the text. So probably not the ideal way to do this. And did the PDF not go? I must not have hit save. Or am I saving it to the wrong place? I probably am. Or is it not saving it? Or is it going down to the bottom? Is that what it's doing? No. If I go in order and I go down to my, it's not. It doesn't seem to be saving it. MyAdventure.pdf. Yeah, it's a PDF. I'm going to save it. No. All right. Well, the PDF is not working for me, but I'll have to come back to that. Magna says there will be patches updates as time goes on. Yes, they are going to have some DLC, so there's definitely going to be updates. So yes, the PDF is not working for me for whatever reason. The text. I'm guessing it's kind of a dump of the notebook. I mean that they're just taking this and kind of throwing it in there. Yeah, they could probably. Yes, I imagine that I'm just going to go on a guess and say the PDF is going to be pretty much the same as the text file was, just maybe with the fonts in there, and then hopefully having the picture could probably be done, probably be improved upon. But I can't see it, so I don't know. So now let's go back. Back. How do I get back? Okay. Table designer. Let's make a quick. Let's see what we got here. So let's create a new table. Ooh, look at this. So main table 1. Line 1. What can I use for some inspiration? I don't have my I could have done. Well, let's just say let's go grasslands. Actually, let's what do we they call it clear. I don't like clear as a thing, but whatever. That's like for text hex types. Grasslands, forest, or I'll call it woodlands. Woodlands, wetlands, uplands, highlands, and let's see, and then call it. Okay, that's column 1. Right. Right. All right. So now what do I do with that? Click here, add a description of this table. All right. So this is just be terrain. So now do I add a column? Oh ho. Okay. Do I want to add a column? What happens if I just. Okay. I'm not exactly sure how this works. Generate name. Let's call it hex. Hex test. So I have this table with just one column, which I guess would work, right? If I'm just, am I supposed to be putting the numbers if I wanted to have it roll, or is it going to do that automatically? I don't know. Terrain. Create a new. So what's the result tables? What is this? Line 1. Do I get a? Oh, maybe I need it. The tutorial's not. It's going to be a video. Ah. All right. Can we figure this out? If I can't, then I'll have to come back and do another video on this. What does a test roll do? Okay. Can I rewind that? All right. So that is giving me. Okay. All right. So what if I want? So I want to create a new table. Okay, so this says click here to add a description of this table. Great. This will show other user as a comment. Okay, no, that's not what I'm wanting. Main table 1, main table 2. Main table 1, main table 2. So let's say frozen, cold, cool, temperate, warm, hot, torrid. Devious Dungeon says it's pretty simple. All right, well, I grant you that. But this is where having some, they have the opportunity to put some notes in here. But yes, I will grant you it probably is pretty simple. And what will be the results table? Can I add my other main table or something? I'm not sure. Let me go back. Let me delete that. Now if I test roll. All right, so we got frozen wetlands. I'm still not sure what I'm supposed to do with the results table. Main table, results table. Oh, I see. That's just giving me another one. Oh, I don't need another one. All right, well, let's add in one more. Let's see. Wet, damp. I was going to put normal in here for right now. Dry. And I don't know. What's the extremely what's extremely dry? Arid? Okay. This one was right temperature. So we've got temperature and then we have moisture. Now, I keep feeling that should do something with the I there. It's like info, but it's not doing anything. I could use it. New column 1. I don't know what that's supposed to do. Am I supposed to brackets? Is there some kind of... Oh man, Devious Dungeons, if you know, put in the chat what is the result table supposed to do for me? Oh, here we go. Ask a result. Oh, wait a minute. All right, ask a result. Please select the line to add to the results table. Yeah, I'm in there. Ask a result. I see. No. Ask a role. Bum. Random. Well, that doesn't work. That doesn't work to do what I want. That doesn't work at all. What if I create a new... All right, so I can add something here. Ask a result. Huh. Did I do this wrong? I might have done this wrong. I wonder if these should be result tables. And then the main tables ask for result tables. Because I think that what I'd like to do, I bet you that's what it is. Do they have any examples? All right. Help. Oh no. we need some text help, at least for me. No, I did it again. Stop doing that, Todd. What are you doing? All right, let me try this again. All right, so I'm going to edit the table. I'm going to add these here. I probably could put this all in one. So what did I have? I had clear, grasslands, woodlands, wetlands. Let's see, uplands, highlands, and wastelands. Oops, no, I don't need that. Get rid of you. All right, so that's that one. And I guess, so this is just a new column, right? So I guess we can't add a new column to the results table. Create a new table. Edit table. Now I had frozen, cold, cool, temperate, warm, hot. What did I have? What did I have in here? Torrid. Torrid. Okay. We got that. Now we're going to go here. Edit table. This is moisture, wet. What did I have? Moist, normal, dry, arid. Right? Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna get rid of all you, create a new table, edit the table. So now I'm gonna ask a result, Result table 1, space, result table 2, space, result table 3. Actually, I should do these. Hold on a minute. Do this. This hex is a result table 2, result table 3, 1. All right. I can test a roll. This hex is a frozen normal woodlands. This hex is a frozen moist highlands. Moist. Oh, the color. Okay. I think I figured it out. They could have said this would be a little bit easier, but now I'm getting it. So I think you want to put your main content tables in here, or sorry, your main table. So I think the way this works, if I'm reading this correctly, I think so. You put your I don't the naming is a little bit off to me, and I'd really want to name these because otherwise, if I have a bunch of these, I don't know how to keep them apart. What does that do? Is that copy? Okay, that does copy. Hey, Ian, have fun in the mountains. Okay, so we've got these multiple result tables, and I think I'm reading this correctly, that you want to put your individual sort of things in here. These are all one column, basically one column, right? Tables. Now, in the main tables, you can put multiple columns, I think. Or could you? Yeah, you can add a column. I guess you can add a column to the other one too. What happens if I add a column in here? I guess I can add a column, right? I'm not sure what that does, but let's just see. So what would be Baron? No, not Vance. Well, yeah, sure. Well, let's see. I'm trying to think. Okay, Baron. Unpopulated. Sparse. Populated. Let's see. I don't know, dense. What would be? What might be something else? Twisted. And then one more, so we're even. Twisted. And then I'll call it strange. All right. So now we got column 1. So I can put I can't because I can rename the columns. Call it condition. Okay, that's that. Okay, terrain. Oh no, did I just do that? Oh, is there an undo? No, there's no undo. Oh, you gotta give me an undo. Hey, Keen, I definitely needed that undo. Let's try this again. Try this again. This was condition. All right. Barren. Sparse. No. Sorry. I spelled sparse wrong. Unpopulated. Sparse. Populated. Dense. Twisted. Strange. Okay. Now we go back here. Edit this table. So let's rewrite. Rewrite this a bit. Now let's add a result. What does that do if I just have that? All right, let's test a roll. Wastelands dense. Okay. But I guess the thing is here we got to keep in mind with the results is that you're going to want, if you're going to use multiple columns in here, you want to put the columns in the right order. And it doesn't look like we can change columns. So I think they could, I think this has a lot of possibilities, but it's another thing that they could I hope they will update the UX. Let us move things around. Be careful with this. I thought this closed the window. It killed the column, and there's no undo. So please add an undo, Brave Alice, and then give us a way of dragging and moving these. And also let us rename these results tables. You can rename your main tables, but not the results tables, I don't think. Or can you? Is it? Oh, I guess you can. It's just, oh, I see. All right. Can I? Oh, okay, you can. But it doesn't, I don't know. It's interesting. So we want terrain 1. My cat is meowing to leave. Kian asks what we're looking at. We're looking at, this is called the Fantasy Adventure Builder. It is by Brave Alice. It incorporates the Tome of Adventure Design from Matt Finch with custom tables and generators. So I just went through and did doing a custom table. I think the thing is here is when you're doing these, you can't pick which column of the table to do. So if you're going to have multiple columns, they all kind of have to go together. My cat is scratching to get out. But you can't get out, Betty. You can name them. I just saw it's just not I don't want to say it's unintuitive, but it's not it's not maybe as intuitive as I was like, because this one, it's weird that this you can click in here to set the description, but they don't have that here. It just could be made a little bit more intuitive. Keenan wants to know what's the fastest way to make a weighted table. I mean, if you use something like I would say, Keenan, the fastest way is to use something with where you're rolling multiple dice, and then you can look at the distribution. So, for example, one of the most common ones is 2d6. You go to any dice, you can pull up what the distribution of 2d6 is. You can see it's got a bell. It's not exactly a bell curve. According to statisticians, the people have told me it's not quite a bell curve, but it's approaching a bell curve where you have your odds. If you're familiar with playing craps or any kind of 2d6 based games, 7, and 6, 7, and 8 are your most common numbers, and it kind of humps up in the middle and comes down. And just use the different from 2 to 12 gives you natural weights. You can use something like D100 that gives you fine-grained control over your percentages because each number is 1%, but you have to do it yourself. So, 1 to 2 gives you 2%. If you make 1 to 10, that gives you 10%, so on and so forth. D20, you can do it with pretty much any die size. D20, each number is 5% chance. So if you're doing 1 to 2 on a D20, that's 10% chance, so on and so forth. Okay, yeah, familiar. So, but if you're trying to get some weighted results without doing a whole bunch of the math, probably something like 2d6 is, if you're familiar with what it is, you've got already built in. You just use every number, or you can put them together and just do the math yourself. Otherwise, D100 is probably the easiest because it's the math is the easiest. You just got to look at your whatever range you pick, and that's your percentage chance. So if you pick 10 numbers on a D100, that's 10%. Easy peasy. It doesn't look like here there are, so I guess an interesting bit here is that these tables, we don't have control over any kind of distribution. The way we could do that is adding in multiples on one line. D33, I don't even know that one. I know D66, which is basically just rolling 2d6 and then but counting one as the tens die and one as the ones die, or the singles die. But I've not seen D33. D%, but with 2d3. Okay. So here are the tables. I mean, I could see doing a lot of stuff here. I just need to wrap my brain around some things. But very easy to get stuff like, oh, we need some hexes. Because I mean, even with my fuddling around, I think in about 10 minutes, I was able to get some stuff down here. But it would be nice if in these tables, I mean, I guess I feel like I want to know what the advantage, I guess my question is, what's the advantage of using multiple columns in a table? I think it would seem much easier to put each one as its own thing. So I have terrain here, and I have, what was this one? Temperature. Temperature here. This one was humidity. Humidity. I think not moist, but damp. All right, I put damp. Okay, so I got humidity there. DV's Dungeon says you can create very elaborate tables with lots of different types of results. I'm sure it's just it's more about. I have no doubt that there's a lot of power in here. I think at the moment, I'm just on the just trying to figure out how to use it, right? But what I'm not sure about is, like I said, what's the advantage of me putting multiple columns? Because if I'm going to roll on the main table, and if I'm adding a result, I can only pull from one. So what I think would have been nice, or not nice, but I'm just not sure, right? If I go to add a result, okay, I get to pick my terrain. I don't get to pick a column in the terrain. I just pick terrain, which means that if I have multiple columns in my terrain table, I get them all, which I might not want. If I wanted to organize things, like all of these things I have here in these results tables could be one table with 3 columns. Right? So I want to maybe pick out one column of this, but maybe I need to do this. So I'm not sure how that works. Maybe there's a notation for it, but it says ask for results. Okay, sorry. Here, ask for results. I can ask for humidity, but then how do I get one column in the humidity instead of all the columns in the humidity? That's kind of what I'm asking. So I like that I can, now that I have these, I can put these together. Whoops, my spacing. There we go. Space, add a result. Humidity, add a result. Terrain. So I like that I can test roll. Cold, dry wetlands. Yay. Nope. Cold, damp uplands. Yay. Torrid, dry wetlands. Torrid, wet uplands. Warm, arid wastelands. That kind of thing, which is cool. So that you automatically, there we go. I can generate some hexes. Yeah, no, the subtitle stuff. I mean, there's a lot, like being able to break stuff out. What I'm just curious about, just in terms of how the software, how this particular app works, is why would I want to put another column in here? Right? I mean, let's put one in here, and because I could see for this how I'd want to do it. Like if I wanted to have, okay, so you just get into, so I'd like to be able to do some if-then statements too. That's probably getting more complicated. Magnus says, I wonder if you could incorporate one roll table sets like Worlds Without Number, where you roll one of each kind of die to generate different details about, say, a court or a cult. I think that, so the advantage of this kind of system is it's not asking you what die it rolls. So I imagine what's happening is, however many lines you put in here, it's just going to roll one. So I think if I wanted to have different things, so let's go back here. If I put a return in there, okay, it's going to add to the bottom. So if I wanted to weigh these results, I would just put in more lines, right? Maybe this is a better one. If I wanted to, well, let's see here. Hold on a minute. Let's call this one inhabited. No layers. a single community, a collection of communities. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm doing this wrong. So let's just say I'm going to have no layers. Whoops. No layers. No. Whoops. Go up. No layers. A single community with okay. Call this. We can edit that with ask result habitations. All right. All right. So now we got that. So let's come back. Let's do here. Oh, whoops. Hold on a minute. Let me just do this. We'll call this one population. Now I can ask a roll random. Yep. 1D. Let's call it a family of individuals. A group of families. A oops, not that. Let's call it oh, I don't know. Individuals. Okay, so now I got that. So now we go to population. Sorry for me going quiet there. I'm just trying to figure it out. So now I can come back to habitations and I can say of, and I can ask the result of my misspelling. Here's the interesting thing. I misspelled population. Population. Did it remember that I misspelled it? No, it did not. So you got to be careful with that. So that's another thing that'd be nice if they could fix. If you rename a table, all your references aren't going to rename themselves. So be careful of that. Population of and results. Population. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Let's roll some tests. Oh yeah, I should probably single community of one families. Maybe make this colon 2 to 12. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's do some test rolls. Hot, wet, clear with no layers. Okay. Hot, dry, clear with. Whoops, did I have with twice? No, where did with go? How did I get with? No layers with a single. How did I get with? Oh. Aha. Aha, aha, that's why. I didn't need the width. Okay. Go this again. All right, so now test roll. Cold, damp wastelands with multiple communities of us of a society of 151 individuals. And I got to figure out warm, normal, clear with a single community of a group of 12 families. Cold, dry, clear. Well, again, clear a lot. Torrid, damp grasslands with no layers. Torrid, normal highlands with no layers. Frozen, wet grass. Man, again. Oh, yeah, because I do have no layers is going to come up a lot, right? Cool, arid wastelands with multiple communities of a family of 7 individuals. So, I mean, obviously you'd want to do those, but you could see how you can embed, you can nest different tables inside themselves to get various other things. As Devious Dungeon says, the one cool thing is that you can share your custom tables with other users on Steam. Yeah. I think the big thing is going to be wrapping your head around how these work. And the good thing is there's a tutorial. Obviously, I'm not going to put the tutorial on stream so we can all watch it together, but it's there. I think hopefully in the future they'll add in-app stuff because you don't always want to drop out to YouTube and watch it. And sometimes I like having the text. Just nice. So hopefully they'll add some. It seems like they have things here that just this eye, just like, hey, info, but there's nothing right now. Or is it that reason? Hold on a minute. No, okay. I was wondering maybe if because this had gotten stuck open, it was hiding something else, but no. It'd be nice to have some help to go around inside, but I think that to be fair, I was able to kind of futz my way until I have a sort of a good understanding. I just need to know I just want to know a bit more about the different columns. I suppose what I could do, right, is I could have those as columns. Let's see how that works. So we're going to add a column. Just for right now, we're just going to do this. Highlighting stuff's a little bit, and also I notice my cursor disappears at times. Like here, I kind of do different things. It vanishes. Oops. Stop that. Like it doesn't always highlight what I think it should highlight, but okay. So I can add some more in here. I could have, or actually, you know what? We could basically just have the number. I think this is, so maybe this is what you're supposed to do. Because now I can say, I can have all kinds of stuff. Bandits, outcasts, mercenaries, cultists. Oh, what else could it be? Let's put monsters. You can get as detailed traders. Just let's see, some just migrants, hunters, foragers, reavers. Let's just put that in there. Okay. Now I've added some columns in here. And this will be an interesting test because each of these columns actually has a different number of lines, and it's not preventing me. So presumably this is okay. And I'm hoping what we'll get is, it's going to roll this and roll that and roll that and then put it together. That makes sense. Let's see what we get now if we test some rolls. Cold, arid woodlands with multiple communities of a society of 7 traders. Single community of a society of 5 outcasts. Group of 2 outcasts. No layers, no layers, no layers. Family of 7 individuals of 2 foreigners. Now, obviously, my language is all goofy. I'd want to clean that up, especially if I was going to throw it out there to share on Steam. I'd want to really muck about with it. Family of 7 individuals of 2 foragers. Cold, arid grasslands with no lairs. Wastelands with multiple communities of a group of 154 migrants. No lairs again. I noticed here it's I would think other tables it works that if you click on these individual ones, it's just supposed to regenerate that bit, but that's not how these are working. I'm going to guess that that's a typo or a bug. But okay, hot wetlands. And maybe I'll go and I'll fiddle around with this afterwards and I'll throw this somewhere. Right. Temperate wet highlands with, let's see, community of a family of 2 individuals of 7 traders. 2 individuals of 7 traders. I'm sure I gotta definitely have to mix that. But there you're getting an idea of how the tables work. So there you go. My generators. Let's see. Table designer. Okay, so that's that one. Okay. So let's see my generators. Ancient Greek names. Euripides. Oh, I like that it gives you, that's cool. It gives you the English and the Greek. Pelopia. Philolaus. An in generator. Do you want to continue? Yep. And you get male or female. This one doesn't have any extra, so it's just generated in. In name, the Tavern of the Tavern of Boys and Girls. With innkeeper whose name is Elrindel, who's human, lawful evil, and is the good brawler. They're an experienced bird watcher and can identify most birds flying over town. They're particularly like ravens. So if Krister's still here, you got a little raven callback. Food and drink. See, this would be nice. They should split this out. Split this out into separate little tables because I might want to just generate one of these. Oh, we got some Nat 1 effects. They're 5th edition based, but that's okay. Yes, I'm going to continue. Tangled clothing. The character's clothing gets caught in their weapon, hindering their next attack and reducing their movement speed temporarily. That's cool, but that's not necessarily 5e-ish. Target of the attack exploits the character's miss, using the opening to make an immediate counterattack. That's fine. Those are fine. And we got a village generator. It also generates all or nothing. Yeah, let's give some subtables for these. Maybe we just need a name. Maybe we just need some population. But we got it all. Oh, there's a lot of stuff in here. So this gives you everything. So you get the name, the population, the description, defenses and garrison, their authorities, what's in the market, temple, who the priest is at the temple. These should also be broken out. Come on, guys. You got to break this stuff out for me. Break it out. Break it out. They don't. In the future, let's look for some. We got room for some future updates to really take this up a notch. But I could see spending a lot of time putting all my stuff, all kinds of stuff in here, and being able to quickly iterate through these. So one thing I know, so these are generators. I'm guessing these are things that you're getting from, because there's not a way to I don't see a way to customize these here. And I don't think and there's not a doing one yourself. So now how do I export this? Okay, saved in my generators. Okay, so what you have to do is once you get this to where you want to, then you save it to your generators and it moves it over there. Okay. I wonder if these main tables I have a hunch that these main tables are these. So for example, if you have two main tables, you can split them up. Otherwise, you just have one main table, you don't. I'm going to say that's what they mean. It would be nice. Maybe that's something down the line. Maybe there's a way to do it, to be able to customize the tables that they have. Like obviously the Tome of Adventure Design, the Adventure Builder is kind of a thing, but it'd be nice to be able to use those as a base and then make your own custom tables through the table designer using those. And it also would help, I think, if I had one of those that they built up, I could use as a template. It would give me a really good understanding of how it works, because I could look at it and say, oh, this is how they group all their tables, subtables together. Let me do mine. So maybe for the future, they'll be able to have something where you could take something from the Adventure Builder or take something from a generator, maybe if you download it from Steam, and then template it into the table designer. Would be very cool. I feel like this table designer is going to be really powerful, especially once you kind of figure out how everything works. Maybe they'll add some support, because obviously you can weight things like we did with the habitations, right? I weighted it. So basically 4 out of 6 is nothing. And then these, but it would be nice if maybe I could weight it, add percentages. Maybe it starts as like an even percent, but maybe have some way to update it. There's a lot of ways I think they could take this to the next level, but it's got a lot of cool stuff in here, and I will definitely be adding this to my toolkit. It's nice that I can have it right in my, basically running on my PC, and I can really add things in and quickly just iterate. But I think a couple things I'd like to see. I couldn't get the PDF export to work, so hopefully it could be my issue. I don't know, but it's not. I couldn't get that to work right now. The text export, it's really just plain text. It would be nice to have some kind of like, hey, can I just copy this to the clipboard really quick? Because I'm thinking in my game, if I'm in Discord, yes, I can export to the notebook, or I can save it to my notebook, then export my notebook, then find where I've saved it, and then. But it'd be really nice just to be like, hey, I just want to copy paste something out. Because remember, when you click on a lot of that stuff, and then it reloads, it re-rolls. So you want to be really careful. If you got something you really like, and you accidentally re-roll the whole thing, you're gonna be sorry. So maybe they, if they add some icons, a little way of not being quite so, a little bit too easy to reroll. And then the colors, when you're highlighting stuff, the colors, those that orange and the blue are just not for my eyes. The white's fine. Those other ones maybe working on a little bit. So I feel like there's so what do I think? I guess as we kind of wrap this whole bad boy up. Remember, if you just want the basic kit, $40 gets you in, which I don't think is out of line for it. Given, especially if you don't have the Tome of Adventure Design already, you're kind of getting that book in an automated form, and then you can customize stuff on top of it. Not a horrible deal. I think it's a good deal. I mean, how much is the Tome of Adventure Design now by itself? If I go to the Tome of Adventure, and not to say you shouldn't buy the book, because I think you should, but just if we're looking at drive-through, it's $20. So basically, it's $20. So if you look at it in that way, you're getting $20 for the Tome of Adventure Design content, and then $20 for all the automation stuff, which I think is fair. I think this has the opportunity to be something that they could really develop. Hopefully, there'll be much more to come. I don't know how much, because there is going to be limited DLC, or not limited, but there's going to be premium DLC in the future. I have no idea how that stuff's going to be priced. If you want that stuff, $80 gets you in for everything. And then the all-in pledge, it's fine. You get to, and they're also this, there's also some kind of tablet access key for the tablet app. So obviously I don't have that to check out, but being able to have this on your tablet and running, pretty cool. Now it'd be nice. Maybe I'll ask them if down the line, I don't know where the tablet app is in terms of development, but what I would hope to see is that you can go back and forth. I've made tables in Steam on my desktop, and now I can port them over to the tablet and have them there. And that way, like, you've got like a second screen. If you don't have two monitors or whatever, you just have, being able to have that or take it with you when you're going somewhere, not have it's a little bit easier to grab a tablet and go somewhere than to grab your, to grab a laptop if you have a laptop. And then if you want to edit stuff, work on tables while you're sitting in your living room or something, I don't know. The tablet oftentimes I find is a lot more handy for that than necessarily wanting to grab my whole laptop and pull it out of my setup to go do. So you got that also. And then the commercial license, it's not for using the results of the tables in your own stuff. If you make up your own tables and whatever, it's not for that. And you take the content out, it's more for me if you're streaming output, if you're outputting raw content from the thing and you're on they say particularly a monetized channel or a monetized blog. I don't know what a monetized blog is, but anyway, if you're using raw from the app in essentially something that a money-making kind of enterprise, then you'd want this license. But for normal folks, you're just taking the output to use in your own games, or even if you're taking the output to use in your own products, you're covered, but you can read it. I covered it earlier on the stream, but you can kind of read that. Dave says, I always have great advice. Oh, I appreciate it. Dave says they feel everyone who's making a game related should have me do a review. Well, I appreciate the kind words. Feel free to spread the word, Dave, if you know folks. I mean, I haven't had anybody say that they haven't found stuff I've said useful. I mean, there was one person that got irritated with me, but I think that was more them than me. I think the one thing is when I look at something, it's not a glamour preview, right? Because I'm going to, if there's some kind of weirdness or whatever, like I'm not editing. I don't edit these. Obviously they're live, so I can't edit them anyway, but they're not really structured to give. I'd be happy to do more of those. If somebody wanted to sponsor me to do some kind of edited sort of glamour, I don't know if glamour reads the right word, whatever, I probably would do it. But yeah, these are kind of, I'm going to show it warts and all. I'm going to put my commentary, good, bad, or ugly. People have found it useful. Hopefully Brave Alice will find any of the things the quirks that I kind of went on, they'll find it useful. Feel free to spread the word and let people know. They just got to be ready that it's going to be something that, it's kind of out there. But like I said, everyone has responded back that I've gotten to and said, hey, I took your advice or I thought you said something was valid or had some kind of value to it, and I've changed things accordingly. I think the one thing I'll say, I wasn't sure how to broach this, but I think, hey, if you're a creator out there and I've covered something and you've used some of the stuff I've covered and used it to hopefully improve your product, you can mention me. I'll take a mention in a book. I'll take a shout out on the social media. It would help me grow the channel if you found something, because, I don't charge anything for these at the moment. I do it all because I want to. I mean, sure, folks kind of, I guess I get sort of paid in kind. I'll mark it as promotional if somebody sends me a code or a key to check something out. But most of the stuff, especially for the more indie folks, is someone just sends it to me and I do it. So if you got value out of it, feel free to help me out by letting folks know that that what I talked about was useful. Magnus says it's worth backing. Like I said, $40. You're going to pay $20 just for the book. So if you feel like you're going to use the book digitally, $40 gets you the book and the app and your own table customizations and being able to pull down community generators, and it's automated. Now, I think they could improve and do even more with the automation, but even to the extent that it's automated now is probably useful. So if your intent for Tome of Adventure Design is really to use this as a digital thing, then this might be the way to go. If you want to have the book as a book, you don't get the book with this, so there might be an add-on for that. $20. So you can add on the PDF if you want it itself, but it is the same price as drive-through, so it's not cheaper by any means, but you can get it. Do I think it's better to have the book or the book and the software? I mean, if I had my druthers, I would get the book and the software, because you never know when you might just want to look at the book. Now they do put in the software, they do put they'll put comments here. Now the comments aren't everywhere. Comments aren't everywhere. I don't know if that's because in the tome they don't have comments everywhere, or if they're picking and choosing which comments they're going to do. But it's nice sometimes to look at the book as a book. And I think the layout right now of how this works is very much pulling from the book, but it's not quite as intuitive, I think, as maybe having the book in front. And I think they could maybe improve a little bit of the automations and just kind of things to maybe move it, in a sense, move it away from the book, the way the book has it laid out, but kind of help people walk through things. But I think that was also a little bit of, if I had an issue with the book or an issue, I don't know, I thought the book is a very idiosyncratic approach. That's kind of Matt Finch's approach. And I know it gives you like a whole bunch of different ways to generate different things. And I found for myself that was a little bit complex or a little bit confusing to me, because I felt like it was building up upon, if you were aware of the original Tome of Adventure Design and how that worked, then the new Tome of Adventure Design made sense because it was kind of mimicking a bit of that approach. But me, since I was coming to it fresh, I felt like I could probably use it a different way. And I think with this software, they have an opportunity, organize things, streamline things to help, maybe give people more of an iterative, like, okay, I'm doing all this stuff together, so let me kind of map it out. Or I think, for traps, like this one, now I get it that I can click on this and get to individual traps. But even then, I go to complex traps. Okay, that just gives me one. But then I go to basic traps. It's going to give me like a bunch of different ones. And I think these are all kind of separate traps. So I'm wondering, well, why give me 5? And it's a little bit confusing. Now, of course, once I know it, I'll know it. But I feel like you could give me, why not break this out into this kind of trap, this kind of trap, this kind of trap, so that I can just get one if I need one. This is probably how the book has it laid out without, the kind of together. But this is where I think the app could maybe take it a step further and say, okay, hey, the book lays it out like this, but we can break things out a little bit. Or like when the rooms, when you're doing a dungeon, it has all the book verbiage in there, but we can automate it a little bit more. So because it'll say like, oh, well, this is a cavern, then this, if it's a room, do this. Well, let's make the generator smart so that it knows that it generated a cavern. So just give me the cavern stuff and save me the room stuff. But it's going to be very personal to what is important. But I always like to have the books as well, just for my own purposes. But if your intention is more just using the generators, then this might suffice. All right, folks. Well, this has gone on, wow, almost 2 hours. 2 arns? What was that? Was that Farscape that used arns? What was their was that their unit of time? Can't remember. I miss Farscape. I liked Farscape. All right, folks. I feel like I've done enough to give you an idea of if this thing is worth it for you. If it is worth it for you, and I have a Kickstarter link. It's going through Genius just so I can kind of get an idea of who's clicking on it. I don't get anything from it. It's just from my own personal knowledge. I'm not, I guess, just to go full circle. They sent me Brave Alice was kind enough to send me a key so I could check this out early to do this. Other than that, I'm not getting compensated in any way. They don't have any say over what I said because I don't even know what I'm going to say until I say it. So there's no way for them to exert any sort of control over the content. They just sent it to me and said, "Hey, would you like to do this?" If I can score a last-minute interview with Matt Finch, I will try to. The campaign's only got 3 days to go, so if you're interested in backing it, back it. The software is probably at or near its final state for launch, so you're not going to be waiting a long time to get into it. It's all pretty much here and ready. So if you're interested, give it a back. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. I hope this was worthwhile to you. I really enjoyed. Thanks again to Brave Alice for sending it to me. I'm going to do a lot more playing around with it. Maybe I'll throw some stuff. If I end up coming up with a decent, hex generator or something like that, maybe I'll throw it up on Steam in the community, in the community tab, or I don't know, community, whatever part of Steam where other people can download it. I'll be really curious to see what people come up with. I imagine that, especially at the beginning, when everyone gets their hands on it, folks will be building lots of custom stuff. Hopefully it will really be able to get into a kind of a ecosystem that'll be living over a long time. There's obviously no way to know, but a bunch of people have pledged for it, $55,000. But I don't know how many people, even if people, went for, I don't know, whatever the average price of 50, that's still 10,000 folks or so who are into the game, and I'm sure not, a lot of people probably backed at just the $40 level. So there's gonna be a community out there to start. Hopefully it'll remain vibrant. I have no idea what their DLC will be. Hopefully some good stuff there, but I'm looking forward to it. Also, by the way, I did go, and I'll have to go back in, and they've done some updates to RPG stories, their other kind of BTT that's on Steam. Maybe I'll go through and run through, because it looks like over the summer, and even they've updated some stuff recently. There's some fun kind of new creatures and things they've added in there. So it's probably worth another look. Well, all right, folks. That's all I've got. I'm out of gas. I'm out of time. That was the fantasy adventure building. As usual, let me know what you think. If you found this useful, if you want to send it to your friends, send it to your enemies. But, whatever. Have a great weekend, everybody, if you're watching this on a Friday. Other than that, have a great day, night, whenever you end up watching or listening to this. Game on, everybody. And I'll talk to you later. Bye now.